Hi everybody, welcome to 802 Thrift. It's my YouTube channel. Thanks for coming along with me for this ride. I've been doing eBay for about a year and a half now, and I've got to tell you, it still happens to me. One of the biggest mistakes I ever make. I call it reseller high. Definitely we're going to talk about that today, so hang on. So even after being a reseller for a year on eBay, a year and a half actually, I still consider myself a novice. And I do a lot of research watching YouTube videos of other resellers like the Crazy Lamp Lady, Harry Tornado, the Niche Lady, Kat. And Kat, you're the reason for this video tonight. So I was watching a video and Kat was describing like the different things that sell really well. Like one of her videos was about the Shelly teacups and Albert teacups, and then we moved into teapots, and I'm just like sitting there drooling like a kid in a candy store. And I'm watching this and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I started getting really excited about the money that can be made off from these teapots and teacups and stuff like that. So I started getting what I call reseller high. So you can bet the next morning I got up and was on a mission. I was gonna find some teacups and some teapots. Hard to do in Vermont because we don't have a lot of resale shops here where you can go find that kind of cool stuff. And we do have antique shops, but you're going to end up paying fairly decent money in an antique shop. I do have one wonderful place that I'm going to show you guys with my next video. You have to excuse me, I stutter a little bit every now and then if I talk too fast or if I start thinking too fast. So I'm going to try and go as slow as possible so I don't stutter. But anyway, so I got up the next morning and I'm like, I just had watched Kat, the nurse flipper, and she was talking about all these teapots and these teacups and how much money they were going for, and I'm like, that's it. I gotta go find me a teapot or a teacup today. So lo and behold, 7 hours and 300 miles later, I went to this one last shop. I was into my day. I consider it a work day when I'm out looking for stuff to thrift and to resell on eBay, because I think you really need to treat it like a job. So it got to be the end of the day. So I grabbed myself a hot dog from the gas station, and I drink Sunkist all the time. So I grabbed that, and I'm like, wow, there's one more stop that I can do on the way home, and this place is sure to have teacups and teapots. So I got there, and I always know this place that I go is a little bit expensive. So I'm looking around intently. The place is actually pretty full. There's some dealings going on with a table on one side, and they're trying to buy it. And there's 3 or 4 other ladies walking around asking questions. So I just set off on my own and start perusing the store, looking for some Albert or some Shelly or some Hall. And I looked all around the store and I'm like, wow, there's not gonna be anything here. So I get almost to the end of my shopping extravaganza, and I went down this one last row, and there they were. They were the Albert teacups. And I'm like, yes. So I'm like on a wicked high right now, not even thinking about it. So I picked up the first 2 teacups, super cool, not really worried about it. They weren't very expensive. They were $4 a piece. Not a big deal, not a big spend. So then I look around the corner and there's this polka dotted green teacup, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to look in there just to see how much this is, and see what brand it is or who makes it. And sure enough, in one day I found a Shelly. I'm like, okay, all right, I found a Shelly. So, and my heart's pumping, how you get when you go ahead and you buy things to thrift, and you're like, oh my God, I found what I was looking for. And it's kind of like a needle in a haystack feeling where like you just hit pay dirt, you've hit gold. So I go ahead, I look at the Shelly cup, and I looked it up on eBay. It was selling for like, I think $130, between $130 and $140. It didn't seem like it was a very popular pattern. And then I looked at the price, and it was $45 for a teacup. So I'm still trying to justify this in my brain, paying up to make money. So I hemmed and hawed about the teacup a few times. I put it back, I picked it back up, and like I said, I'm still on my reseller high. Like I'm right here, right up on cloud 9, going crazy because I actually found a Shelly. And then I decided not to purchase the Shelly. It was a beautiful teacup, but I didn't feel like I wanted to have $45 sitting on my shelf for very long, for waiting for it to sell. But who knows? It could have sold quick. You never know. So then I'm like, fine, I need to go find a teapot. So I start looking around, looking around. I did find one hull draped teapot. It was definitely vintage. It was nice. It was kind of like a golden yellow color. It was only 20 bucks, so I picked that up. I'm like, that can sit on the shelf for a while if it doesn't sell, because I know it's not a super, huge. This type is not going to be a super huge mover. It's not going to move that fast. And then when I went to get down to get the teapot out, I noticed in the back corner of the shelf was this teapot that I think literally was glowing around it. Like, I don't know, like it had its own halo or something. And I was like, oh my God, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I've got to have it. So on my reseller high and in my rush, I'm like, I'm not even gonna look this up because it's just too gorgeous to even leave behind. And they had a price tag of $55 on it. I'm like, you know what? I can do this. This has got to be a $7,000 pot. It's got to be a $7,000 teapot, maybe even $5,000. Who knows? It looks rare. It looks vintage. It's beautiful. And it actually was a hull teapot. So I get it up to the counter. I gave it a quick once over, which was the big, huge mistake. And I put it on the counter and I said, I'll take it. I whipped out my credit card, paid for it. And I made the lady wrap it up like it was gold. And then I drove home. What was on the bumpiest ride home, I went through this mountain. It was a shortcut to my house. And I'm like, I'm going 30 miles an hour. There's traffic backed up behind me because I just don't want to shake this teapot around. Because I'm thinking in my head, I've just made pay dirt here. Like, this is going to be the craziest find ever, and I'm going to make big money and all this other stuff. And like us resellers like to think we do, and so I got it home and I brought it in. It was the first thing I brought in. I set it in the box in the house, and I didn't go touch it at first. I made some dinner. And then I'm like, okay, finally, I'll get the teapot out. I'm calm. I'm relaxed. My reseller high is coming down. I'm like, we're going to go upstairs and list this. We're going to get it done. So I haul it out of the box. It's wrapped in two different packages, one for the top and one for the bottom. And I'm looking it over and I'm like, this thing is just so beautiful. Then I set it down in the sunlight, and there it was. There was a huge repair on the top of the teapot. Huge. And in my haste, I didn't inspect the teapot enough to be able to determine that was already a fix on it. Because I should have thought about that too. I'm like, $55 for this teapot? Why is it so cheap? Because it really is gorgeous. And when I show you guys, probably most of you are gonna recognize it. And there, the top was just cracked. I was devastated. Like, all my life dreams just fell to the floor. I instantly went from being up here to down here. My reseller high just went right away, and I'm like, I was pretty hard on myself, but I'm like, well, we'll just put this on our own counter, and it'll be a good reminder of the mistake that we made today and not to do it again. Because earlier that day I had driven all the way to New Hampshire, which was an hour and a half, almost an hour and 3/4 away, to go thrifting at the Listen thrift store. Love them. Great place, great prices. And the staff is always amazing. And I recognized the reseller high because there was somebody that followed me into the store, and like, he was running around from area to area to area to see what he could scoop up, like almost like he wasn't going to be able to get there quick enough. And I'm like, oh, that's reseller high. Why didn't I think I had it too? I was like, I'm new. I'm not that new at this. So, and I recognized it, and I should have just really just slowed down and, pay attention to the greats out there. All you guys, George the Antique Nomad. I love all you guys. I love watching you. And, you don't do that. You don't run around and be like, I need this right now. And, you get that reseller high because to look things over. The crazy lamp lady always is in the store. She looks everything over and sees if it's broken. And then sometimes the lady from Flying Pigs will be her fun sponge and be like, nope, there's a chip on that. And then she puts it back. So big mistake learned. But moving forward, I will definitely slow down, But I just want to give that word of advice to you guys out there, that if you are trying to find cool stuff out there and you watch these videos like Cat the Nair Slipper did for me, not for me, but it was a good video. Don't get super excited. A lot of this stuff you're not going to find in your area. You might find it. You might find a gem in the middle of all the rocks. But my biggest word of advice is to slow down. When you get that reseller high, just take a deep breath and go into it slowly and look things over. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the teapot so you guys can see it. I really do think it's absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, I'm new to doing this video, so hopefully you guys are able to see the teapot when I just pick it up and hold it in front of the camera. I'm not sure, but here it is. It is a Hull Aladdin teapot. I don't know the exact like line of teapot it is, but it really is super, super gorgeous. And there's the bottom. It's got the ombre pink to it. And I don't know if you can see it or not, or if the camera can pick it up, but right here is where it was repaired. And it is super unfortunate. This will be a piece that I don't think I'll sell on eBay, because I've found in the past that pieces that have cracks or have been repaired, when I go to ship them, a lot of times they will break. So I don't like to ship anything that has a crack or a repair in it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I think it's just going to sit in my cabinet at home and be a great reminder of what not to do and not to go crazy on the reseller high. And I warn you guys to be really careful out there, because now I've got this $55 teapot that's broken, and I'm not going to sell it on eBay, and I'm going to look at it for a very long time. So anyways, that's my story for today. I hope you guys get something out of it, and